Hey guys, and welcome to part 2 of the F124 full deep dive and review. Of course, I did the proper episode to the full game, which you can go check out in the description yesterday. But today I'm going to be doing the F124 career mode, which was the most anticipated update in the F124 release. Career mode, of course, has been a key part of the game since 2020, really, and since then it's kind of, apart from the league side and online racing lobbies, carried this game forward, and it's got a much needed overhaul this year, which we will go and have a look into. Starting off, you have the usual driver career, my team career, and two-player career. Nothing really changed between the options. You still get to choose, like make your own team, choose your drivers, and driver career. Of course, you can still play as your favorite teams and drivers. Well, a new thing that was introduced was challenge career. You play as one of the current 20 drivers, and essentially you get the choice of who. So there'll be a challenge each week. So this week, for the people who pre-ordered the Champions Edition, you can actually do a Max Verstappen one and unlock his helmet. Now, I will not be doing that because the sweats in it are actually scary. But the whole point of this review is we'll be doing the deep dive inside the new updates to driver career on my team. So of course, once you start into any F1 career mode, you're going to get the option. You can either start in F2 or skip straight to Formula One, which most people in this day and age will do anyway. No one really, unless you're a die-hard F1 fan, you're not going to want to start down in F2. So we are going to start in F1, and of course, you can still choose your custom seasons. It's basically from the same game. You can have your own custom settings, and you can confirm that. And then here's where things get interesting. You can use one of the current 20 drivers, or of course your own custom character that you can create from settings below. Of course, I'm going with one of the custom drivers. And for this sim, I will be using Max Verstappen. Or, no, I'm actually going to use Lando Norris. For this review, I will be using Lando Norris. And before you even go into the game, you can see one of the new things that has been added to this game, and it's recognition. I will get into that further on in the video, but essentially it plays a huge part on how any career mode is played. So of course you can confirm your settings, choose your team, choose your driver, and then essentially in you go.
Finally, let's do this for real. Sorry it took so long. You know what these legal types are like? Yes, sir. No, sir. Here's 80 pages of needless jargon, sir. Anyway, believe it or not, this is my excited face. Come on, come on. Let me show you what we've got. So, all the usual stuff. Merchandising, likeness, blah, blah, blah. But the really juicy stuff is their expectation of you. They need you to challenge yourself all season, be the best you can be, dominate your teammate, become a legend. All that jazz. Now, it's over to you.
So that was one of the new cut screens that is visible in this new game cycle. Now, before we even get into it, this was not present in F123 or F122 or 21. So this is a brand new cut screen, which is very nice to see, very refreshing from EA. And before you go into the actual garage or anything, you have to sign a contract, which I think is very interesting and a unique take on an F1 game. So as of Lando Norris, you can see his current overall driver rating, his experience, his racing, his racecraft, his awareness, his pace, and his focus abilities. But one thing I found very interesting when starting off my career mode with Daniel Ricciardo was that you can choose your target rating. The higher rating you can achieve, the more notoriety or what's it called, popularity you can get, and the team will like you more for choosing so. For this save, I'll just go Lando Norris will reach a potential of 890. That's 2 rating plus, or we'll do 91 to make sure. Then you sign the contract, and then You're with McLaren. So of course, you have the usual career mode lobby here. As we've seen, there was a new cut screen going in which plays after every race or anytime you return back to the main driver's lobby or slash house. So it's the same for every driver. It doesn't really change, unfortunately, but it's nice to have something different coming into. So of course, you still got the usual advanced time, the options. You still see the driver ratings as you upgrade. They will still be visible on screen throughout the thing. Your save. New thing added to the game was specialists. Specialists are a key part in playing any career mode, and it overall brings something unique to the game. These allow you to set goals for certain race weekends or choose what you want to do. The more of these objectives you beat and complete in different race weekends, the more notoriety you get and better opportunities you get at bigger teams. Now, unless you're Max Verstappen, I don't think you're going to get bigger options than what he has, but you can set the goals and get what you really want. And here's a new thing that has been added to the game, driver details. This allows you to see your overall target. So my target is 91 rated, and there is a thing where if you don't achieve a certain rating, so if I end up getting Lando Norris down to 86 rating, I have a chance of losing my seat, which is something I never thought would be considered, but here we are. Welcome to Formula One. Um, so the target was 91, my current is at 88, and my retained seat is at 86. So that should be very easy to keep hold of and not mess up. Next up is accolades. This is something new. You might have seen these in FIFA with Playstyle Pluses. But these are essential driver traits that allow you to get more XP, better racecraft, championship points, the usual jazz. If you play FIFA, you will understand. Now, Rivals was overhauled this year, so of course you have the usual teammate rivalry, but as you go up the grade and do more races, you will begin to get rivalries for ratings and positions. So of course you're going to have the usual teammate rivalry, then you might have the top three rivalry or the championship rivalry, which I think is a nice overall look. And the fact that you can have three rivalry all at once, which all have different.
Each rivalry will use different metrics to determine who will win. The teammate rivalry uses various metrics displayed here, and whoever leads most of these will be classed as leading the rivalry. The bottom of this screen will show you what rewards are available and when you'll get them.
Well, she just did my job for me, but as I was saying, she basically teammate rivalry pretty similar, then championship rivalry and driver rating rivalry. That is something that is nice to see and always has a bit more of a feeling to it when you're beating your rival. Then of course you have the driver graph ratings, essentially the overall ratings of your driver, which will be shown on the grid as each season and race continues. Of course, we have all 20 tracks here, so I won't get much into that, otherwise we'll be here all night. And the driver rating, this basically is compare your drivers, compare your driver to every other driver on the grid. So we can compare Max Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc. It's basically just to compare the stats, which is something nice you don't really get to do often in these kind of games. So it's a nice little touch from EA to allow you to customize and have a look around. Of course, you still got the R&D screen. Not really much changed about this year. This relatively stayed the same. You still have all the perks, all the recommended upgrades. You can view the description of them all still. Not really changed here, which was of real notoriety. They just kind of transferred everything over from F1 23 to 24 here. You can still see the R&D progress.
This graph charts the performance progress of all of the teams. It allows you to view our progress versus the rest of the competition over multiple seasons. And you know me, I love a graph.
And essentially this allows you to see, as your man said, the progress over each race and season, which is very nice. You still have the vehicle of course, mechanical options, so you can change your inner engines if they get worn down or they break. You're always going to have a set of spares. I'd say my advice would be to keep using them as much as you can, because once you use up all of them and you have to stop paying for new ones, you will get time penalties, which is something you should really try to stay away from. But if you have to, you have to. And the weekend allocations, that's pretty much stayed the same. You still choose how many tires you take to a race weekend. There's nothing really different about it. And finally, the standings didn't change. Still have the constructors and the drivers, which is still the same from last game, but there's two different ways of seeing it, from the season results and then the overall trophies that you can achieve. Now, as a reminder, all race wins you get can actually be claimed and put into your trophy cabinet. So I would always recommend doing that. I'm going to fast forward here a bit, because this is pretty much the video almost over now. So, of course, you may have seen in the last video there was the brand new season grid reveal. I will finish up the video on this because two-player career mode relatively stayed the same this season. You still have the two options of being teammates or enemies, signing for different teams, or getting different drives. It's still relatively the same, nothing changed in two-player career. Challenge career, it's its own unique category that it's kind of more like a race competition each week. It's kind of like ranked, but for like serious esports drivers to unlock like rewards and all. But if you feel confident and you have the ability to do it, I would recommend doing it. So to wrap up the video, we're going to do the new season grid reveal, and then I will be talking to you probably when I return League Racing. Of course, I am going back to racing in Purple Sector, FORL, and Motive Racing, and hopefully more throughout the season. So make sure to check the playlist below of all my F1 sim racing or League Racing streams if you have time, or even stop by when I'm streaming. It was a pleasure ranting on about this game. I know I'm probably the last person to cover this game because the fact it's already pretty much released. The date as of recording is the 30th of May, one day prior to the game release. So at least I can say I got my videos out on time. But thanks very much for watching, and it was a pleasure ranting on to you, and I will see you when I get back racing.